The last dance, Davis and Alice were known to me from our days back in high school. For the better part of school, I knew they were dating until Davis changed schools. Without a phone, but simply a phone number, he and I were hardly in contact. For the value I often attached to friendship, I did think about him sometimes, wondering whether he was doing good, whether the new school was treating him well to the best of his expectations. Whereas Alice and I remained in the same school. She and I were merely acquaintances, so we hardly spoke. Nonetheless, many of her friends were friendly to me, so once in a while I would hear her be mentioned in a conversation without anything too specific. It was not until university that I got the chance to meet Davis again. I remember him coming to my hostel room, feeling caught between two stools, pondering about his course choices and what university to really attend. Following successful applications to more than one university, he had been given the opportunity to study at each that he applied to, with all of them offering him different choices. He knew what he wanted to be, where his passion really lay, but wasn't quite too sure about what route to pursue at this point. My friends and I back in high school had pondered about this same issue, debating with little knowledge, largely from hearsay or the simple conversation experiences each of our university attending brothers and sisters had shared with us. I remember debating that in our country's context, McCary University wasn't up for discussion or comparison, largely a no-brainer. On the other hand, I was being lectured that Kyambogo University is quite good at engineering courses, while Uganda Christian University was on the rise, busy making a name for itself when it came to law studies. On the business side, McCary Business School, MUBS, was only second to its surrogate. That's the kind of discussion we were caught up in with Davis that day. Each of us freshers trying to argue out the options, the pros and cons for each as we knew it, still with very little knowledge and in no counsel of anyone better equipped to advise. Although he heeded to my advice, at the end of it all, he made his choice, and it was the right one, contrary to my narrow opinions at the time that were poisoned by the simple fact that I wanted him and I to attend the same university. I figured he had found someone else better to give him another perspective. Away from all the serious discussion, he did share with me some of the schools he had attended after leaving our mutual school, how he had kept in touch with Alice with their scattered letters and phone communications. The attraction to each other was still as strong as ever, and things had been rekindled largely during the Form 6 vacation when he worked as an attendant at one of the restaurants at Centenary Park. Over the next 3 years of their campus life, the two lovebirds continued to date. At the time, I would even bet my hand on it that these two would end up married. Although they'd had a fair share of couple fights, their relationship remained solid and strong that you could table it as collateral in the bank to secure a loan. Post-campus, the two continued together, but somewhere along the way, while they each struggled to find a solid footing in the job market, so eager to build a life and cope up with life's pressures, bit by bit, they started to lose it. Their communication started to suffer a slow, unintended death, growing them apart one day at a time, leaving a trail of unreturned phone calls either intentionally or not. After more than a year on an unsuccessful job hunt on the streets of Kampala, Alice, with her degree in journalism and mass communication, had landed a graduate trainee placement with one of the big TV stations in the country before being posted to northern Uganda, where she was to work under the station's regional editor. Along the way, Davis had expressed a significant level of insecurity that wasn't just based on his feelings and emotions. It was one based on reason, reality, and largely dictated by life's misgivings. At one of our old boys and old girls meetings, I was curious enough to ask where he had left his beloved Alice before he laid out for me the whole story, expressing his concerns. Man, Alice Bajinda Montwalako, they're going to take Alice, he said before admittedly adding it was going to be a result of his failure to provide. I haven't figured it all out yet. She honestly deserves more than I can provide at this stage in my life. Unemployed and living off stipends. And yet there are guys out there, not just promising but ready to give her a life. Love, provide, and take good care of her. There's a way post-campus life puts a strain on serious relationships, especially if you do not find work soon enough. In the end, they broke up without actually breaking up. Part ways without saying a word that it's over. They simply grew apart, zeroing their communication to a once-in-a-while greetings and updates about each other's life. Along the line of duty, Alice had found someone, a guy called Felix, with whom they were now engaged and destined for the wedlock. A fortnight to her wedding, delivering a wedding invitation on a Sunday afternoon. Alice and Davis met at his place in Kiddantali, and she gave him one last dance. To this day, without having to judge her, it still baffles me. Was it goodbye or an official partying gift? A thank you of some sort for all the years they have been together. It is now 4 years since Alice got married to her husband, with whom they've since had 2 children if social media is anything to go by according to Davis, who by the way attended the wedding. He also adds that he has never heard from her since then. She even changed her number. I tried inboxing her on Facebook to say hello, but it's just a trail of unanswered messages. Life can be cruel to man. I stood there and watched the love of my life get married to someone else. Davis once said to me in chat before adding that, a part of me was actually happy that she is happy. Hi everyone, this is Robert K. Circles. Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast today. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. Give us a like on your favorite podcast platform. Leave a comment letting us know what you thought. We love hearing your feedback. And if you know someone who might enjoy the show, please share it with them. Your support means the world to me and helps us reach more listeners. Thanks again for being a part of the Robert K. Circles community. Until next time, take care.